Hillcrest relay team, please. Hillcrest relay team. Year 7. Hillcrest relay team, please. Okay, teams, get yourselves ready. First rowers, ready to go. So first rowers on the machines. A 1,000 meter race, a year 7s. Okay, so get yourselves ready. Waiting for one machine. Guys, you're going to have to stop rowing, please. Stop rowing, stop rowing, stop rowing. Okay, watch the screen for the start. Okay, so 1K relay underway. Just the 3 teams racing. And we have Hillcrest in 2. They're actually leading the way out of the blocks here in the early phase. Birchdale being lane 6 now, trying to put on a bit of a sprint to come through to take the lead through 100 meters. And it's Birchdale B that have the early lead at the moment. Hillcrest holding on to second place. Hillcrest go for a bit of a change there, a bit of a slow one there, but they have finally changed over and they're off again. And that's given Birchdale A chance to get into second place now. The race separating out. And Birchdale change over. Both teams have changed over for Birchdale. The team settling in here, coming through. 700 meters to go. Birchdale B leading from their A team by 10 meters. And Hillcrest trying to close that gap back down to get themselves back into this race. Birchdale A just 9 meters behind. Hillcrest going for another changeover. Trying to close that gap down. 600 meters to go. 9 meters the gap. Birchdale A team now coming back at their B team. Oh, slow changeover by the B team has given the A team a massive chance to come back at them. But the B team now settling back into their pace, maintaining their lead. 500 meters to go now. So really good battle developing between those two teams. Hillcrest also now coming into 500 meters to go. Birchdale B leading over Birchdale A, but Birchdale A closing that gap down again. So a frantic race at the front here, just 1 meter in it, and they're dead level, the two Birchdale teams now. Nothing between them. And Birchdale A for the first time have taken the lead. Hillcrest still chasing hard as they come towards the final 250 metres to go. Birchdale A leading by 11 metres. The last 60 odd seconds to go now. Both teams working hard. Hillcrest trying to close that gap down desperately as much as they can. Birchdale A though starting to accelerate away, leading by 22 metres. There's some massive noise here from both Birchdale teams trying to close that gap down. Hillcrest now coming up to the final 250 metres. Oh, 250 metres to go for Hillcrest. Birchdale A though coming into the final 100 metres, leading by 30 odd metres. They go for a changeover. Oh, Birchdale A looking like they're going to secure this one nice and safely in lane number 4. Oh, big round of applause there. Birchdale A taking the victory. 350.6. Birchdale B now coming up to the line. Last few strokes for them. And they cross just over 4 minutes. So 4:03 dead for Birchdale B. Hillcrest now coming down 100 metres left to go for the Hillcrest team. Working their way towards the end. Coming into the final 50 odd metres now for Hillcrest. Working their way, the last few strokes now up to the line, 25 metres or so to go. Oh, excellent work there. Massive round of applause there for all teams racing. Okay, if we can have the women's first 2K race, the year 12 and 13 girls, women 19 to 29. Girls, if you want to find your machine, start warming up. Last call for the 1929s. 1929 women. So ladies, remembering that you're racing against gold medal percentages for medals. So your results will be converted into a gold medal percentage based on the winning time from brick for your category. So even if you are leading your individual event on the race system, just try and go as quick as you can, because obviously we've got different categories here. And it's all about the gold medal standards for the medals. Okay, everyone looks like they're pretty much ready to go. All thumbs up. Yep, everyone happy? We'll start this one. First 2K race. Okay, pick up your handles when you're ready. Pick up your handles. Watch the screen for the start. Good clean start then. Out of the blocks, this first 2K race of the afternoon. Just 4 competitors racing. Got Millie as a stick form. And the green boats are 1929s. So remembering the results from this are converted into percentages, so see how we go. Girls settling into their pace here. Victoria Wright, lane 3, getting out the quickest out of everyone so far. Probably got about 5-meter lead over Millie in lane number 2. And Danny and Amy pretty much neck and neck with each other through the first 40-odd seconds, just 2 or 3 meters in it. 4 meters the gap there between Danny and Amy. Both girls just settling into their pace, working their way through the first 300 meters. So Victoria Wright in lane 3, holding a strong, solid lead now, really opening up a gap. But obviously, remembering that it's about that percentage at the end of the day. Millie in lane 2, going very well with her as well. Both girls about even on pace in terms of stroke rate. Victoria maybe 1 or 2 pips higher. So coming up to the first 500 meter slot here. Victoria's going to get there first at about 1:53. Nearly at 1:55 through that first 500. With Danny in lane number 4, just working her way up to that point now. Danny coming through there, about 2:11. Amy just about the second behind her. So girls now settling into their second 500. Victoria still holding on to that lead. Millie though in lane 2 tracking her. So both girls pretty even. In fact, Victoria just got out to that lead from the sprint start and then pretty much is made about the same position throughout. The girls now working their way up towards that 1K mark at the halfway point of this race. Victoria still working, leading the way. 1:53 splits, 1:54s. Tell pretty much through the first 3 minutes of this race. Nearly at 1:57s. Girls now coming up towards 1K point. The race splitting out a bit here into a bit of a race of two halves, as it were. So you've got Victoria and Millie. Millie being sixth former in the red boat. Victoria in 19 to 29s. Then Danny and Amy racing hard against each other, just 10 metres separating them. Victoria right now, though, coming through the 1K mark, through the halfway point, still holding that solid pace. 153, 154s. So working their way through into this third 500. Millie as well, just accelerating slightly through the halfway point of 155s. And Danny and Amy now working their way up to 1K marker. Still that gap of 10 metres between them. So really competitive race between those two. Coming down now up towards the 750 metre marker. Girls in the first 2K race. Victoria doing a massively good job there, really working on that split, holding it nice and even all the way through so far. And in fact, you just increased it slightly at 152, so just a slight bit more speed as she comes through. About 3 minutes left of racing. Millie as well, just lowering her split a bit to 155s, 155.6. Both girls really accelerating into this last 500. Uh, 100 metres out from the last quarter of this race now for Victoria and Millie. Working their way through. Victoria still accelerating, 151s. Really trying to work her way through that difficult third 500 now, and she's got 500 left now. So working her way into the sprint phase of the race. Millie in lane 2 now also into the final 500. Both girls really pushing on now. So remember, it's about that gold medal standard. Oh, massive increase in pace now. Victoria now dipping under 150s for the first time as she works her way up towards this sprint phase of racing. Less than 400 metres left. Danny and Amy less than 100 metres out from 500 to go. Those girls now still 10 metres apart. A really competitive race between those two. Danny and Amy, really not much to split them at all. It's just that start of the race that has opened up that 10 metre gap. So Vicky now coming up to the final 200 or so metres. So working her way through into this final phase of racing. The finish line coming up onto the screen as the next marker, 200 metres out to go. No, Victoria really accelerating, 147s. Millie still at 155s at the moment. No, Millie now also down into 200 to go. Victoria though coming just over 100 metres left to go. 147 she's holding with 100 left, and she's still accelerating, 146. Working her way through this final phase of racing against the clock. 145s now from Victoria. Millie as well, 154s, so she's accelerating into the final 100. Victoria pushing along at 144s there through the last 3 strokes. Oh, big round of applause there for Victoria. Taking the victory, 727.3. Millie coming through in second place, last few strokes for Millie. And she'll cross the line at 742.2. Now this battle is on between Amy and Danny. Absolutely nothing to split them. They're still pretty much dead level. It's about 10 metres the gap between them. Danny trying to close that gap down on Amy as they got 200 metres left. Both girls working hard. Danny putting in a big push now to try and draw level with Amy. Amy responding as well now. So both girls really pushing on. Less than 150 to go. Amy still just ahead. Danny just trying to close her down. Less than 100 to go now for both girls. working their way up to the finish line. Final 50 odd meters or so. Amy leading the way. Danny trying to close that gap down. Pretty even on their pacing. But it looks like Amy just gets in there by 1 second. So a massively good race. And well done to all girls in that first individual race. So if we can have the next race, the under 19s, under 19 men and 19 to 29 men, 2K. If you want to come forward, start finding your machine, start warming up. So again, guys, also remember, some of you may be racing against gold medal standards. So regardless on how you're doing in your individual race, it's all about gold medal standards for the medals for your particular category. But obviously you get a rough idea of how the other competitors are doing as you see on the screens in front of you. So we've got a couple of minutes, guys. We've got apparently one competitor in the toilet and another competitor is basically running down the hill to get here. He's literally just 60 seconds away, apparently. So Okay, guys, so this race, we're just going to give you a couple more minutes, so 2 minutes, okay? So 2 minutes before we start, 2 minutes. So we just want to check. Still missing those competitors. We just want to make sure. Okay, I think we're pretty much ready to go. Just have 1 second just for the final check. Okay, so remembering, guys, racing against your gold medal standards. I'm going to ask you to put your handles down, please. Okay, so just waiting for some ergs to clear. So just relax for a second, guys. Just waiting for flywheels to clear. Okay, guys, pick up your handles. Pick up your handles. Watch the screen for the start. Good clean start then by these 90s, 29s, sixth formers. We have the sixth formers of the red boats, 1929 heavyweights as the green boats, and 1929 lightweight as the yellow boat down in the bottom corner. Stuart in lane number 8 getting the quickest start. Lane number 6. Holding 129 splits through the first 200. And Tom Johnson, lane 10, holding second place, 9 metres behind at 137s. Neck and neck in the sixth form race. Chris and Tom in lanes 1 and 2, dead level with each other. And Aaron in lane 13, working his way through first 300 as well. And Stuart still leading 132 splits. Really pushing out a strong lead now, leading by 20 metres. And he's working his way through towards the end of the first 500 at 1:33 splits. Holding on to a 26-meter lead over Tom in lane 10. He comes through at 1:30 for that first 500. Stuart in lane 6 there. Tom coming through at 1:37. Tom and Chris in lanes 1 and 2. Still nothing between them, dead level. Working their way through. Coming up towards the halfway point, but Stuart really opening up a big gap. 40 metres his lead now. The sixth formers doing a good showing of themselves, sticking with the guys in second and third and fourth place in the 1929s. Really good racing between those guys. Really pushing along now, coming up to the halfway point. Stuart still leading, holding 1:36 at the moment. And he's got a 50-meter lead. Yeah, 100 meters out from the halfway point, so really working hard against the clock here. Seeing how close to that 6 minutes he can get. And coming through. Looks like it's going to be about 3:08 for about the halfway point there for Stuart, taking that halfway point. Matt Aldridge in lane 11 now, working his way through in second place. Crosses that halfway point. Tom Johnson in lane 10, neck and neck with James in lane 8. And in the sixth form boys in the red boats, Tom in lane number 2's opened up a bit of a slight margin over Chris, only 6 or 7 meters though. Both guys still pretty much evenly matched, both on the same splits. Same split pace there. And Aaron in lane 13 also working his way through. So coming along there.
Still have Stuart leading the pack, closely followed by Matt. James is really starting to pull through now, starting to pick them up. Still a very close race between Tom and Chris. Near enough neck and neck. Keeping it nice and steady as they go the stroke rates. Staying the same. Stuart's maintaining that lead ahead of the pack. With a pretty close bunching close behind him. Tom's just getting the edge on Chris. Extending it to 13 meters. We have Stuart clearly out in front now. Really close pack behind Stuart. We've got James, Matt, Tom, Alex. Joe not far behind. Tom just gaining the edge a bit further on Chris. Extending that lead slightly. Close battle between James, Tom and Matt at the moment. Vying for the bronze and silver medals in their class. With Stuart clearly on the gold as they come into the last few hundred meters. That's Stuart across the line first. Congratulations. As James, Tom and Matt all go, and Alex go into the last 100. Keep pulling, keep pulling. Very close between James and Tom, right down to the wire. Tom's just getting the edge over Chris as well. Close race now between Matt and Alex as they fight for the first. And Joe comes in the last few meters there. Excellent racing. And Chris, well done. Congratulations, gents. And not to be forgotten, we've got Aaron still out there rowing, coming into the last 100 meters. Good words from his coach there. He heads towards the last 50 meters. Still pulling strong, still pushing well. Those last few meters now must seem like quite a way. We're into the last few meters now. Congratulations, well done. If anybody would like to purchase an event t-shirt, they are on sale just underneath the number 2. The small amount of money we make off those t-shirts goes towards developing canoeing and rowing within the Birmingham area. So please buy one and help us with our cause.
Okay, next race, the 30 to 59 females. If you want to find your machines, you can start warming up. So if you want to find your way forwards, find your machines, you can start warming up. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. One minute. Okay, handles down, please. Down. Waiting for one machine to clear. Okay, pick up your handles. Watch the screen for the start. Good solid start out of the blocks then in this mixed category race. Bit of a mixed bag of categories. We'll just get the information in a second where we are. But through the first 100 metres, we've got Helen Pearce in lane 2, leading the way. Strong 140 split through the first 150 metres. And in second place overall, we have Victoria Taylor, lane 5. They're working their way through. Helen Pearce, 142s, 141s. Holding on to a 30-metre lead over Joanne. Victoria Taylor in lane 5. Probably about 25 metres behind. Good battle between Anne Atkins and Lynn in lanes 10 and 9. So everyone getting away nice and solidly up towards the first 500-metre marker. Filling into their paces, Helen Pearce still holding 141s. Victoria Taylor at 153s, 152s in lane number 5. And then Anne Atkins is also going very quickly in a moment, 156s in lane number 10. With Joanne holding on as well, one in lane number 3, 153 splits as well. So those three ladies pretty much even on their pacing. Victoria Taylor just ahead of the other two. Remembering the results will be converted to gold medal standards. So Helen Pearce coming now up towards the 12:50 marker, still holding that solid pace, still at 142, 143s. In fact, pretty much all ladies here pretty much holding their pacing through the last 500. So everyone progressing well up towards that halfway point and that third 500. Victoria Taylor in lane 5, just trying to move away from Joanne in lane number 3. So pushing along through this next phase. And Atkins lane 10. Leading that 50 to 59s. 155 splits. Got about a 40 metre lead over Linda. Deb is probably another 20 metres behind in that third place. Susan Young, the lightweight. Probably about another 20 metres behind that group. But Helen Pearce now safely through that halfway point. Progressing well into this next phase of racing. 144s, 143s. They're trying to maintain that low split. She's pulled it right back there, 142s again. They're right back on her pacing. Trying to extend her lead here, really pushing away from the field. 3-4 minutes. And coming up to the final 750 metres. So everyone now safely through the halfway point. Now into the business end of this race, really pitching themselves against the time here. There's still that good battle between Linda and Deb in lanes 9 and 11. Still that 20 metre gap or so. Deb trying to come back at Linda. A really good battle developing there between those two. Helen Pearce now, though, coming up to the final 500 metres. So still consistent with her pacing. So going really well here. Working her way through that difficult third 500. Now thinking about that sprint phase of the race coming up. Victoria Taylor in lane 5. Still maintaining that sort of 10-20 metre lead over Joanne Hill in lane number 3. Both ladies are about the same pacing on their average splits. On their current splits, I should say, not average. And we have Anne Atkins in lane 10, just accelerating away from her age group competitors. Nearly 90 metres the lead she has now over Linda in lane number 9. Kirsty in lane number 4 is a lightweight also pushing along here. Working her way up towards that final 500. So 250 or so left for Helen Pearce in lane number 2. Still maintaining that pace. Still at 143s. At the business end now, so this is where she can make a difference in that final 200 metres. A sprint for the line at 200. Really working her way through. 150 metres left for Helen in lane number 2. So a bit of support here for the competitors as they come up to the line. And Joanne in lane number 3 is putting a bit of a push here to work her way through. Victoria Taylor's pretty much dead level with Joanne in lanes 3 and 5. So Helen Pearce now, last 20 odd metres, really working her way up to the line. Oh, excellent. Big round of applause there for Helen Pearce coming through at 6:49 dead. Joanne Hill in lane number 3. Currently the next athlete who's looking like she might make it to the line. Victoria Taylor in lane number 5. Also coming up to the final 100 metres. Anne Atkins in lane number 10 now. Working her way up to that last 100 odd metres. Joanne Hildo in lane number 3 now, 50 metres out. And she'll come through in 7:27.8, so well done to Joanne. Victoria Taylor in lane 5 coming through in 7:32.6. Anne Atkins in lane number 10 coming through in 7:39.1. Now Kirsty in lane number 4 now, coming down to 50 metres to go. sprinting hard in that green boat. 153 splits. And she'll come across the line in 757.5. So Lynn now in lane number 9. Less than 100 meters to go for all competitors left. Linda and Deb neck and neck in that battle. It's been pretty much consistent all the way through, just 20 meters or so separating them. Linda will get to the line first in 8:19.9. Deb coming through in 8:21.3. And Susan just coming through now in 8:29.5. So a big round of applause there. The ladies in that race. 3 minutes, guys. 3 minutes. As a reminder, obviously, it's about the gold medal standards for the medals today. So your results are compared to the winning times from Brick, with the winning time from Brick being 100%, and your result will be taken as a percentage of that. Two minutes. One minute, guys. 1 minute. Okay, guys. Handles down, please. Handles down. Okay, guys, we're ready to start. If you pick up your handles, ready to start. Pick up your handles. Watch the screen for the start. Good clean start out of the blocks here by all competitors. We have Paul Savage in lane 2 getting out the quickest in the early phase of this race. A 129, 130 splits. And then very close, Alan Riddler in lane 15, maybe holding the second quickest time out of the blocks here. Through the first 150 metres. Kevin Baldwin in lane number 1. Third overall at the moment from all competitors. Jesse in lane number 8, probably about just in 4th place at the moment at the early phase of this race. The guys all safely through the first minute of racing. Paul in lane number 2, leading the way, 134 splits. Alan in lane 15 just has got his nose ahead. In second place overall at the moment. Then Kevin just probably about maybe less than 5 metres behind him. Kevin holding second in his category. James Herring lane 7. 2 metres behind him as well. Matt Foster in lane 12, holding second place in the yellow boats, with Paul Lloyd in lane 10, 5 or so metres behind him in third place. Guys now safely through the first 500, working their way through. Joe White in lane 16 coming through there. There's a lightweight competitor. No, Paul Savage, lane 2, still holding 140, 135, 134 splits. And we've got Kevin in lane 1 now, holding 138, trying to close that gap back down. Those two now probably just about first and second. Alan in lane 15, 138 splits. Trying to accelerate away from Matt Foster. So Matt Foster holding 141s, 142s in lane 12. And very even between himself and Paul Lloyd, who's about 10 metres behind him now in that battle for second place. The yellow boats. Paul Savage though through 1K. So 135s, 134s still. We're bringing our quickest result so far for the 2K was 6:18 from the 1929 category. Alan in lane number 15 now, working his way up towards 750 metres to go, leading that yellow category. You've got Jesse Betts in lane number 8. He's got a comfortable lead in his category. There's the lightweights again. The guys now working their way through this third 500, through that halfway point of the difficult phase of racing. Joe White as well now coming to that point as well, really still on the coattails of the field here, trying to close that gap down at 152s, 153 splits. Paul Savage though working his way up towards the next phase. And coming now with 500 metres left to go here. So Paul Savage lane 2, 133s, working his way through. Less than 400 to go. And the other guys now working their way through into that last 500 phase as well. James Herring, lane 7 coming through. Matt Foster into that phase as well. Paul Lloyd. Roger Marshall in lane 11. And are in lane number 9 now, coming up to that phase. And Joe, lane 16. Working his way into that last 500. Paul Savage though, coming up to 250 to go now. So really in that final phase of racing now, 200 metres left. Working his way up to that finish line that's now on the screen. Still sprinting hard at 133s. He's got a 100 metre lead over Kevin in lane behind him. Alan in lane 15, probably just tucking in between the two of them there. 100 metres to go though for Paul in lane number 2 now. Sprinting hard to the line. 132 splits. Trying to close it down. Last 25 metres or so. And he crosses the line in 6:16 dead. A big round of applause there for Paul. Alan in lane number 15 now, approaching the line. And he'll cross that line in 6:26.4. Kevin in lane 1, just ahead of Jesse in lane 8. So Kevin now working his way up. And he'll cross the line. That's 6:41.4. Jesse coming through 6:43.1. Matt coming through 6:48.2. Paul just behind him at 6:50. James Herring, lane number 7. Working his way up to the finish line. He'll cross just under 7 minutes at 6:59.6. And now 3 competitors less. Roger now working his way up. All within the last 100 metres now. Roger coming through as 7:12 dead. And Mandana in lane number 9 coming through in 7:18.8. And Joe White now, last few strokes of the line, sprinting hard. 7:24.8. Big round of applause for the guys there in that race. 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Just a quick reminder about the t-shirts. T-shirts are available underneath the number 2, just £10, exclusive to this event. A reminder of the fabulous occasion. The small amount of profit we make from the t-shirts goes towards developing rowing and canoeing in Birmingham. Please buy one.
Okay, guys, get yourselves ready. Handles down, please. Handles down. Just waiting for the flywheel to clear, so you can just relax for a second. Okay, guys, pick up your handles. Pick up your handles. Just relax for a sec. We're just waiting for one. Okay, guys, pick up your handles. Watch the screen for the start. So race number 12 getting underway. Again, a big mix of categories here. All the way up to 80. +, so the guys getting underway very quickly though. Stuart in lane number 4, leading at this early phase. So working their way through that first phase of racing through 200 meters. Stuart Edmondson in lane number 4, leading by 11 meters at the moment. Pushing their way through that first minute. Phil Dyer in lane 7 holding second place. And Michael Robinson in lane 6 holding third place. Very tight behind him though. Mark, Phil, Ian Cooper, Stuart Shepherd, Nick, all very, very close together as they come up towards the first 500 meter marker. We've got a lightweight in lane number 9, Robert, who's also actually going very well against the heavyweights around him. So he's competing very well, is well in the mix here. Looks like I'll probably put him as probably third place currently overall. So he's holding 148 splits at the moment. And Paul, Ian and Graham in lanes 14, 15 and 16 all progressing well, coming up towards that first 500 meter marker. The guys really putting in the effort here. Working their way through. Stewart still leading the way in lane number 4, 141 splits. Philip Dyer in lane 7, 22 metres behind. The guys now working their way up towards the 1K marker on the screen. Stuart leading by 24 metres over Philip in lane number 7. Michael Robinson still holding up third place with Mark Christian in lane 11 now, just separating from the rest of the group to take that fourth place. Robert Sherrington in lane number 9 still holding his own against these guys. So he would probably be on par for about third or fourth place at the moment in the heavyweight event. Working well. Now working up towards 1,000 meters. Now Stuart comfortably through that halfway point. 140 splits, 141s. Philip in lane number 7 holding 143s. Michael Robinson, lane number 6 coming through 146s. The guys now into that third 500. So coming up towards 600 meters to go. So Stuart still leading away now. Coming up towards 500 meters to go. Holding on to a 22 meter lead. Phil Dyer going with him though, holding that gap at about the same. Michael Robinson, lane 6. Still holding that third place. Robert Sherrington, lane 9. Also still going well. Still holding his own against these heavyweights. Probably putting him at about 4th place at the moment. Just ahead of Mark in lane 11. We have Ian Bremer in lane number 15 holding 2-minute splits as well. He comes up to 600 meters to go. Paul Wild in lane number 14, holding 2:14. Graham Cooper, lane number 16, holding 2:20s. He's coming along as well, working his way up towards that final 500 meter marker. Oh, Phil Dyer is putting a massive push here and has really closed that gap down. 10 meters now. So he's really putting on a bit of pressure for the lead of this race. In this phase, he's still got a lower split currently than Stuart, but Stuart now responding and holding him at 10 meters the gap. Phil Dyer trying to respond. 200 meters to go for those guys at the front then. 12 meters the gap. Stuart really trying to push away again from Philip. Philip trying to come back at him again. Trying to work through. 150 meters to go. Those two guys in that sprint for the finish here. Stuart really trying to open up that gap again. He's coming down to 100 meters left now. 15 meters the gap between them. They're working their way through. 50 meters to go now for those two guys. Looks like Stuart has just done enough just to hold Philip off for this one. And as he comes up to the line, and he'll cross in 6:49.9. Philip Dyer coming through in 6:53.9. Michael Robinson now coming up in lane 6. Mark Christian in lane 11 and Robert Sherrington in lane 9 also coming up to the line very rapidly. Michael crosses in 6:09 dead. Robert comes through in 7:12.1. Mark comes through in 7:13.8. Nick now coming up to the line in lane 12. Working his way through and he'll come through in 7:26.1. Stuart and Phil Turner crossing pretty much together, just under and over 7:30. Ian Cooper coming through in lane 1, 7:35.5. Now Ian in lane number 15 now, working his way at 147, 146 split, so a massive push here by Ian in lane number 15, really pushing on to the line here. A massive effort, 145 splits. Oh, excellent work there, 755.7. Paul Wild in lane 14 now. Less than 150 meters to go. Working his way through. So 100 meters left for Paul in lane number 14. Graham now coming just over 200 meters to go in lane 16. Paul now with 50 meters left, putting in his push for the line here. Trying to bring the splits down as low as he can. And he has 209s. Working his way through. Final 25 meters. And he comes through in 8:36.9. Graham Cooper now with just over 100 meters to go, holding 2:17s. Trying to work his way through in this final phase. 100 meters left now for Graham. 2:18, so trying to push on for this final, and it's 2:16, 2:15, bringing it down in the last 100 or so meters. 50 meters left now. Pushing his way through the last 3 or 5 strokes, working against the clock, trying to dip under 9:15. Oh, excellent effort there. 9:18.6 for Graham. I move on to junior relay. Racing over 2K. Okay, guys, and girls, 1 minute before we start this. 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, handles down, handles down. First rowers on the machines. Okay, pick up your handles. Watch the screen for the start. Okay, clean start then by the years 8 to 11 relay teams out of the blocks here. Birmingham Rowing Club in lane 3 getting out the quickest overall, 125 splits. And they're setting the pace for the rest of the field to follow. Holding 128 splits at the moment. Merchant Sale in lane number 1. 202 splits. We've got King Edward High School in lane number 9 as the greens, which be year 9s, I believe. Hillcrest and Merchant Sale in lanes 7 and 5, pretty much neck and neck in that race. Birmingham Rowing Club in lane 13, holding 150s. So through the first minute already, teams racing hard. Neck and neck in the green race there. Burston Sale, Hillcrest, King Edward High School, all pretty much dead level. Those teams really pushing along here. Birmingham Rowing Club leading the way in lane 3 through the first 500. Sale in lane 5 now, leading in the green race by 2 meters or so. No, teams pushing away then, coming up towards the halfway point now. Still very close in that green race. King Edward High School retaking the lead. Good efforts all around by those teams racing hard. They're working their way up to the 1K marker. Birmingham Rowing Club in lane 3. They'll get there first. 1:35 splits, leading the way. No, pressing along here. King Edward High School leading in lane number 9 by 870 metres by Birchensdale in lane 5. Who are trying to close that gap back down again. Hillcrest in lane 7 also trying to close that gap down. So that is the most competitive race as they come through the halfway point. Yellows for Birmingham Rowing Club comfortably ahead. Working their way through. Coming up towards 500 metres now. The team's working hard. 500 or so to go. Still that green race though. Birchensdale closing that gap down to 7 metres over King Edwards. Now they're really working hard against them here. Pushing through. $11 metres that gap for the lead of this race. And most teams now in within about 600 metres of the finish line of this 2K sprint. Birmingham Rowing Club, solid position now as they work their way through. King Edward High School in the green event still leading. Birchensdale holding on to second. Now the finish line in sight now. Just over 100 metres to go. Birmingham Rowing Club coming up to the line. The last push towards the end of this race. 6 metres in it though in the green race. King Edward High School still there. Birchensdale trying to close the gap down. 5 metres the gap now. It's really closing up. So well done to Birmingham Rowing Club coming through, taking the victory, 6:28.2. And Birmingham Rowing Club in lane 13 coming through in second place overall. 6:44 dead. So now he's going to be the next team to the line. Birchensdale in lane 11. Still just ahead. And they are just ahead in fact, so that it looks like they might 100 metres left for Birchensdale in lane 11. And they now come up to the final 25 metres. And they'll come through in third place there, as it were. 7:28.5. Neck and neck between King Edwards and Birchensdale in lane 1. King Edwards just ahead. and they come through in 7:35.9. And Hillcrest now coming through the final 100 meters in lane 7, working their way through up to the finish line. 50 meters to go. Oh, big round of applause there for the schools in the relays there. Big round of applause, please. Oh, well done to all teams in that race. We have one more race to go. Okay, the last race of the day, the 2K relay. So teams, if you want to find your machines and start warming up. Two minutes, guys and girls. 2 minutes. Okay, first rowers on the machines. First rowers on the machines. First rowers on the machines. Okay, just waiting for one machine. Okay, guys, pick up your handles. Pick up your handles. Watch the screen for the start. No, good clean start then. Well, there's 6 teams in this final race this afternoon. There we go. The system will sort through. We have Birmingham City Uni in lane 13 leading the way. 119 splits. So the lowest splits we've seen so far today. Neck and neck for second place between Jim Mostyn and Birmingham Rowing Club A. Now the team's comfortably through the first 250 in the boys' race. And the girls got Birmingham. Birmingham City University and Birmingham Rowing Club is a composite crew, leading the way at the moment by 30 metres. Very close. The men's race though, just 9 metres in it for the first 3 teams. Championships have changed in lane 9. Trying to come back hard, just close that gap, get back in contention there. Birmingham Rowing Club A in the men's race, leading by 5 metres over City University. Jim Mostyn 18 metres behind, trying to close that gap back down. And the composite women's team leading, but Canterbridge in lane 3 coming back at them rapidly. So that gap has closed down to 11 metres. Really close now in the women's relays event. So 2 good races developing here. City University now just taking the lead, but going to go for a change and have given the lead back to Birmingham. The team's now coming towards the halfway point. Birmingham Rowing Club, apologies, leading the way by 5 metres. Both teams at 129 splits. And in the women's event, the composite teams extending their lead back out to 35 metres. Canterbridge coming back at them again, really closing that gap down through those changeovers. Solid rowing as they come up towards work their way towards the 1,000 metre marker. The men's event just coming through that point now. The first 3 teams safely through, champions of change. Just also working their way up to that 1,000 metre marker. Still very competitive between all 3. The team's pressing along into the next phase of racing. Working along now, coming up to 700 or so to go in the men's race. Birmingham Rowing Club leading the way by 12 metres. Still very, very tight between those three teams. Just 20 metres in it. Anyone's game as they come up towards the last quarter of this race. The women's event, the composite team extending their lead now to 80 metres. So really solid rowing in this composite team to take this lead and push it out as far as they can. Champions have changed now. Also coming through 700 to go. Chasing that freeway battle at the front as best they can. Neck and neck at the front of the men's race, with the City University just taking the lead now, trying to pull away from Birmingham. 123 versus 132s. About 250 odd metres left to go of racing. So a bit of a tactical push here by the City University. But Birmingham Rowing Club coming back at them again now. They're holding at about 10 or so metres, the gap. The finish line is in sight. 200 metres to go now. 13 metres the gap. No, Birmingham City holding on to their lead at the moment. Birmingham Rowing Club trying to close it down. 10 metres, 9 metres, it's coming down with 100 metres left to go. 8 metres the gap. Who's going to get to that line first? 7 metres with about 50 metres left of racing. Down to 5 metres. It's going to be on the line. Who's going to get there first? Oh, just Birmingham City University just pip in there at 606.1. Birmingham Rowing Club 607 dead. Jim Mostyn coming through in third place at 612.3. And we have champions have changed in lane 9 now. Under 200 metres to go. Sprinting hard as they come up now towards the final 125 metres. And the women's race is still the composite team that have that 90 metre lead at the moment. Trying to squeeze away as best as they can. Canterbridge in lane 3. 300 metres to go. Champions has changed though in lane 9 now. The last few strokes for them. And they'll cross the line in 707.8. And Birmingham Rowing Club and Birmingham City University now coming down to 100 metres to go. 140 splits. Working their way through 139s. 50 metres or so to go for the line. And they'll cross the line in 738.4. Canterbridge in there going through one final change as they now come up towards the final 100 metres. Working their way through this last phase. Last 50 odd metres or so. Now racing hard against the clock, and they'll stop it at 8:11.6. So a big round of applause there for everyone racing today. The final race of the afternoon. And I think if you bear with us, give us a couple of minutes just to get those final results, and then we'll do the medals for the remaining events.